When I feel like I'm being crushed by society, it's the road that sets me free. Every journey is a journey to oneself, and the friend I contact in this situation is a guy named Francisco. A libertine and lateral thinker, pacifist and globetrotter. At the gas station, we get everything our heart desires. We set out late at night to leave behind what limits us in our being, and to find what, as the European dream, certainly has nothing to do with dishwashers and millionaires. In the Faraday cage that protects us from the illusions of the public, where 24-karat authenticity reigns supreme, this journey takes us to a city that reflects the soul of this continent like no other. The secret capital, the city in the sea, from the mountains to the very place where Zeus and his captive rode ashore, through the wild forests of the Alps to the salt beaches of the Adriatic. As the kilometers on the meter climb, our truth merges with reality. We no longer owe any doubters an explanation, and the voices that want to make us know that we are part of this society are silenced. It is as if all these thought constructs that our brain has built up for orientation in this madness are passing by with the blur of the landscape. Imitating the sound of the engine, and with an iron gaze, he defines the ideal line. When a bump causes the car to make contact with the road, he doesn't even flinch. Francisco is a brilliant driver. With him I could imagine winning, or at least successfully participating in every rally in the world. When he steers into the curves, he does it with such elegance that you would expect him to be more of a dressage rider than a lost racing driver. We are approaching a small town, which is the reason why ski overalls are part of any decent Italian wardrobe. Cortina has retained the splendor of the 7th Winter Olympics from 1956, and even if it has slightly faded, for an Italian who made it, a winter without the week in the Olympic idyll is not a winter worth remembering. At this moment, however, it is summer. That means no Range Rovers, no families in color-coordinated turtlenecks, and well, if this town burned down to the ground tonight, the world wouldn't know until next winter. What else does life on this continent have to offer? With the steering wheel fully turned and first gear at full speed, the parking lot of the Majestic Hotel serves as a centrifuge. I'm on the verge of a blackout, and this lunatic shows no signs of taking his foot off the pedal. When I reach my pain threshold, he gives up too, and with stars twinkling in my closed eyes, we rush down the driveway to get back on course. It's a warm night. There's no cloud that would block the view of the full moon on this road that shines with the distant mountain ridges. We are surrounded by a landscape in which rock walls rise to incredible heights to our left, and forests stretch out to our right, radiating the peace that we so urgently need now. Curve after curve, the sound of FX Twin carries us. One might think humanity had forgotten this place. He slowed down. The heart is still beating strong as an aftermath of the last action. I have to pee, he screams out of the blue and pulls the car over to the side of the road. I also get out to stretch my legs. He stands on the roof and urinates into the forest just to avoid the usual. You are doomed to repeat what you cannot remember. I can't remember the last time I took a piss from the roof of my car. Freud talked a lot of shit during his lifetime. He pulls up his pants, turns to me and proclaims loudly, with one hand on his chest and the other stretched out poetically. We are on our way to a place where we love and accept ourselves as we are, not having to achieve anything to make up for the pain we felt when we were rejected by those we loved. We know that every fear is the fear of the feeling we felt when we found ourselves not good enough in our nature, and know that no rejection in this world could ever dismiss us from reality. The only thing that will free us from the feeling of fear, loneliness, and boredom is the awareness that everything we are looking for is within us. We feel the feeling of perfection that we long for when we dream of achieving our goals, then, and only then, when we accept ourselves 100%, including that which this system looks at as not perfect. I can't help but applaud until my hands are burning. "You're taking over," he shouts and jumps off the roof. I get behind the wheel while he, on the passenger seat, lights a joint and grabs a can of whiskey coke from our snack bag. Here's to us and everyone else who has given up on this goddamn game. To this toast, I want to start the next stage with a burnout, which due to lack of horsepower doesn't quite work out. Nevertheless, our road trip continues, and since I am a lost race car driver myself, I want to maintain the level of the previous ride. We are driving through villages where parents are fast asleep, desperately waiting for the children to call during the day, only to hear that they are fine and that the big city has kept everything it promised. If you live here, you must have learned to love the solitude. Otherwise, you won't be able to stand it for a minute longer. You should also be able to tolerate your neighbors, because here, a neighbor is a neighbor for life. He hands me the joint and sucks on the can. "If they catch you driving drunk here, your car will fall under the hammer. Italian cops don't joke around, that's for absolute certain." He rummages through the glove compartment, and with the breathalyzer that he pulls out, he once again proves his professionalism. A drunk passenger can be as annoying as he can be entertaining. In Francisco's case, it's a real pleasure when he puts the here and now into words, and since it's already his third can, nothing would stop him from doing so. The truth is nothing general. It is often confused with reality. Truth is as individual as the individual itself, which religion, politics, and any other form of idealism will never understand. I don't need to have read any of these books to know that the message of every religion is love. I don't need religion to know that love frees me from fear. One goes to school for 12 years, but the really important things only life will teach us. School first and foremost teaches us how to obey and fit in. During these 12 years of school, in which one has to prove oneself to a school system in which one is forced through at least 6 different subjects in one day, life is simply about surviving. What one might be willing to learn is of no interest, given the strict timetable and curriculum. The professors expect you to pay equal attention to each subject, and since these teachers want to be taken seriously, they cover you with homework and preparations for presentations. One has to find time to study for countless tests and main exams, and before the summer holidays, there was always the absurd question of whether one had already looked for a summer job. If you then graduate without any psychological damage or trauma, and you can still look in the mirror despite all the negative assessments, you're ready for life. After a few kilometers, I notice how tired I am. Last night was one of those sleepless nights, which I'm all too familiar with. A night during which my brain thinks one thought after another, as if there was the need to think of absolutely everything. And the delicious joint that is glowing between my fingers doesn't help me stay awake in the slightest. "I'm tired," I let him know, stopping the car to switch seats, to get the sleep that I would probably find now without any problems. He takes the device that he had previously taken out of the glove compartment and blows. 0.2. The cop who would take my car with this result would be a real monster. I trust this man, and wouldn't let him do anything he wouldn't dare to do himself. No matter how many empty cans rolled back and forth between his feet, we swap seats and he proves that the burnout, at least on sandy ground, is possible. I put my seat back and take a deep breath. Next time I wouldn't take over the wheel so quickly. I reach into our bag and treat myself with an ice cream before the winding road of the North Italian hinterland rocks me to sleep. Meanwhile, he continues his philosophical monologue. I'm having trouble keeping my eyes open, and the ice cream that I wanted to give myself as a bedtime treat forms into a circular stain which in my crutch keeps getting bigger and bigger. His words fade into the distance. The necessary sleep no longer seems far away.